Okay, folks, so the Democrats are back at it, and more specifically, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has just called Trump Hitler for the 1000th time in like 9, 10 years. You know, if this is the October surprise, then it isn't a surprise because calling Trump Hitler is actually old and boring now. People have been calling him Hitler ever since he went down the escalator. So it's not that interesting anymore. Today we're going to talk about that. Today we're going to talk about whether Trump is a fascist. It's going to be a pretty broad conversation. It's going to be a shorter video. And guys, today there are going to be two videos. For the first time ever, I'm going to upload two videos. If we exclude shorts, of course, because I have been uploading shorts daily, but shorts, I don't consider them videos. Today there are going to be two videos. One talking about the situation regarding the election 10 days from election night, which will be live streamed on this channel. You don't want to miss that one. We will be reacting to the election together. And this video where we talk about Kamala calling Trump Hitler and why this is a stupid strategy. And we will talk about also why it is false, in my opinion. Okay, so let's start by, I'm going to show you the clip where Kamala called Trump Hitler in order to give you a little context.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So, as you saw, Kamala said that, Trump remembers Hitler and Trump remembers fascism and all those kind of things. And I don't know if she's saying that, maybe I think she believes that he's going to be a dictator. This whole idea that Trump is going to be a dictator is, in my opinion, bullshit. And the reason for that is very simple. He was the president of the United States for 4 years. From 2017, from January 20th, 2017, up until January 20th, 2021. He has been the president, he was the president for those 4 years. How on earth is he going to be a dictator when he wasn't? I think I don't think it makes sense to believe Trump is going to be a dictator when he already was a president and he wasn't a dictator in those 4 years. He wasn't. He obeyed the laws and he wasn't a dictator and he wasn't a fascist, certainly. So this whole idea that Trump is a dictator and that Trump is going to be a dictator and that Trump is Hitler, I think it is very asinine, and I think it's a strategy that doesn't work because the voters don't buy into the BS anymore. Maybe 10 years ago it would have worked. Maybe when he came down the escalator and when he forced Trump for president, maybe then it could have worked. But now it can't work. It can't work anymore because people know he isn't Hitler, people know he isn't a dictator, and therefore they're not going to believe what Kamala Harris says. And one thing which is important to say, I think that Kamala Harris has been obsessing about Trump too much. She shouldn't be talking about Trump so much. Whenever Trump does something, Kamala Harris starts attacking him. And this is not the right way to go for Kamala. I think she should be more focused on trying to respond to Trump by proposing policies and by being charismatic and by being passionate, because most of the times what's really important and what really stands out is not the things you say, but rather the way you say them. If you're passionate, if you're charismatic, you can go a long way, even if you say things which, even if you don't have a lot of substance, you might, do very good things, and you might get to points where you didn't think you could get, if that makes sense. I know that I explained it poorly, but I hope you understood more or less what I tried to say, what I tried to utter. I hope it was clear. But this whole thing, this whole idea that Trump is Hitler is just boring. It is very boring. If you look at Germany when Hitler was in charge, and if you look at America now, when Trump was president, you can see a very big difference. And you can clearly see that Trump is not a fascist. And you can clearly see that Trump is not a Nazi. You can clearly see those things. I think that's true. I mean, Trump didn't do the kind of things Hitler did. Now, let me tell you one thing. I don't know much about World War II. I don't know much about Hitler. So, I've got no clue almost. I'm not going to talk about what Hitler did. There are already hundreds of thousands of videos on the internet about that, of people who are far more qualified than I am to talk about what he did. I'm not going to talk, specifically about the things he did. But if you just look at the images of America 5-6 years ago when Trump was president, If you look at the images of Hitler when he was, the dictator of Germany, the contrast couldn't be more evident, in my opinion. So Trump isn't Hitler. Let's just leave it there. Trump isn't a fascist. Trump's not gonna bring back fascism. Trump's not gonna be Hitler 2.0. Those are simply lies uttered by the Democrats, some Democrats, not all of them, of course. I think that there is a big part and a big contingency of Democrats which doesn't believe Trump is Hitler, or at least I hope there is. But there is also a part of Republicans which believes Trump is Hitler. That, it is simply crazy, I think, to believe he is Hitler for many reasons. But by being brutally honest, if I can be brutally honest with you, this whole thing that Trump is Hitler doesn't work anymore. Voters don't care about this anymore, and this is an old strategy which Clinton tried to use that didn't work. So why Kamala Harris is doing this, I don't know. I think her campaign is kind of struggling because she wouldn't be saying those things like insulting Trump, calling him Hitler isn't efficient. Calling him weird was more efficient. If she wants to insult Trump, which is debatable in terms of whether it is an effective measure to try to win the presidency, I mean, that's a debate. It is another debate we should have, whether insulting Trump is actually the way for Kamala Harris to win the presidency. But let's imagine it was. If it were the way to win the presidency, she shouldn't insult Trump by calling him Hitler, which is a strategy that is old and doesn't work, and it's a strategy that voters don't buy into. She should rather try to call him weird like she was doing if she really wants to insult Trump.